Hi everyone, this is Chrissy and Angie with Chrissy and Munchie's Nails, and we're going to do a little video on applying ColorStreet to really short nails.
Tiny nail beds.
So you can see one of mine's already done because I stole part of a nail from when I did Angie's. So we're going to kind of have matching manis right now.
Yay, holidays!
When I can, I do try to share sets with people because it does not take very many strips to do my nails since they're so short. And we'll kind of go through and talk about how I pick out different things. So we're going to use Berry Merry and Cran-tastic. As you can see, they're already slipped apart because we did Angie's nails already. So.
And they're gorgeous.
We will be adding Glitter Sweet to the Be Merry ones later on, but we're going to let them cure for a while before we do that. So I won't be showing that in this video, but sizing is the important thing here. So aside from your nails, what I like to use, rubber cuticle pusher, and then an acne needle. That's what this is called. But it gives you a nice point to work with, as well as this nice long handle. A regular sewing needle could work, but it's a little harder to see what you're doing. So this extra handle allows you to see better to poke around. And when you have the short nail, it's helpful to do that because you're going to have to perforate so you can nicely slit across where you need to for that. And that's what I did here with this nail. This is actually something I use sideways to get on there. So we'll talk about that. I can get these out. I shoved them down too far when I put them away after I did yours.
Teach you to shove them to the bottom of the pack.
Another helpful tool with the acne needles, you can go in and pull these things out.
Too bad there's not like grabby things like those little pickle pinchers.
I suppose I could have cut it too.
No.
But that's too much work, right? There we go. Alright, so with my really short nails, I can fit some of these strips sideways better than I can up and down. So I will take like the really skinny pinky strips and put them on like my ring finger or my middle finger, depending on how long they are. Right now, like this one's really short because I cracked it. I had to file it way down. So I'll be using a really short pinky to do those two middle fingers so that they will be sharing. I have that accent nail on my ring finger, so that will be a different color. So if you have nails that are adequately wide enough and long enough to use the regular nail, go ahead and fit that to what you want to do on there. So this second strip usually fits my thumb, so I'll use that on there. Or like really size that. And then usually for my index finger, these are all messed up because I tore them apart already. I'll use one of them that has kind of a little angle on it. I do sometimes turn them sideways depending on how long my index fingernail is, but that's what I do for those. So we'll talk about that. So it's middle fingers. Pinkies, I use the second pinky strip. Those are different lengths on mine, so usually I can use the skinny side on one and then the fatter side on the other. And then I'll just need the other accent nail, which I'll be using one of the skinny pinky Cran-tastic ones for that. So I like to put the nails kind of in the order that I'm going to put them on my fingers so that I know where they're going to go ahead of time. And that helps with cutting because sometimes I will take, when I'm not doing a mixed mani, I'll take the fattest thumb measuring one and I'll end up cutting it into 4 pieces to fit onto those ring finger and middle fingers together, so I can use one strip to do those 4. If the samples came in thumb sizes, I could probably do my home manicure with the 2Z. All right. I don't have any alcohol prep pads here because we had a little
issue
with nail polish remover accident here. But I like to use a cotton swab anyway because it helps me get a little bit cleaner into those deeper crevices with my shorter nails. So that's sometimes helpful. I did push my cuticles back before, and then I let them relax a little bit before I do the alcohol.
That's not how we did mine.
Your cuticles are more normal than mine.
Thank you.
The way my fingers work, they bump over, so they kind of fall over a little bit more than
normal people.
Yeah.
It's taken you almost 6 minutes to do this first part.
I know.
Talk faster.
I don't want to talk too fast because then it's hard to understand me.
Work faster.
Yeah. And then I like to do my pads too because I've been using a lot of lotion and stuff lately because it's cold and I'm washing my hands a lot from stuff and they're just dried out and they're sad. So I do my finger pads too so that they are not putting oils on when I do my fingernails. Here we go. Are we still in a good view?
Yeah. Just don't do anything super weird.
I'll try.
Alright.
No guarantees.
Oh, okay.
So one thing I like to do so I can see a little better as I'm doing stuff and have more control is I'll put the nail strip perpendicular on to the paper that I came off of, so I have a little bit more control. I'll line that up. This one I'm going to put up a little bit higher because we're going to put that glitter sweet over later, and you want a little gap at the bottom for that second layer to adhere to.
When she says bottom, she means by your cuticles.
Yes.
Show that camera what you did. So here you can see that she did it the normal way.
Yeah.
On her one normal shaped finger.
I have two normal shaped fingers. My thumbs are normal.
Thumbs aren't fingers.
That is accurate. Anatomically speaking, they're not fingers. And you can put this back on the other side. Sometimes I'll do it when I clip it, but the first part is the harder part for that. Oops, I put that down all too far. If I'm really trying to stretch a nail, I will sometimes take this part in the middle now that I can cut off and put it on something else or keep it to put like a cut stripe accent on. I'm not going to do that for this one. But
So what's happening with that strip?
this is just normal, except I split it over two fingers because I can.
The middle section.
Nothing special, but sometimes I will use it on a different finger.
Are you going to use it on a different finger?
No, not today.
Oh, you threw it out.
What do you want to do with it?
I don't know.
We did do an experiment when we went to see how long something would stay after it had been pulled off the plastic.
Quite a while, actually. Yeah, we pulled it off the plastic.
And the paper, and then we kind of resealed it up.
I didn't reseal it. I put it in a little sandwich baggie.
Oh, I thought we had resealed it.
No, I put it in a sandwich baggie. And then I stuck it in my freezer for at least 3 months. And then I stuck it on my toe. And it stayed there for a really long time. And I did not anticipate it to stay there quite so long. So I had this really weirdly placed partial strip on my toe.
All right, so I'm going to do my accent nail with the Cran-tastic to match this other side that I did earlier. So the skinniest strip, this wider part of the strip fits over my fingernail pretty well, so I'll end up using that section. Depending on how long my nails, sometimes I need to use the middle, and I'll cut around the edges then and just get one nail out of it instead of two, but the way that they're so short right now, I could have done 2 nails with this one pinky strip if I wanted to. And I would take the plastic off and cut it in half and put it on each nail. And I'll kind of show you how that works because that's how I'll do this side. And I can show you how I use my acne needle to get that done. So I'm going to kind of measure that over and know where I want to cut that. Take the plastic off. Sometimes if I'm just having a hard day, I'll make Angela put a mark on the back of the paper so I know where to cut. But otherwise, I usually just kind of eyeball it because I will use the acne needle to fix it up once we're done.
Please note, this acne needle has never been used for acne.
That is accurate. Can you see this?
Yeah, mostly.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm using the acne needle to get this corner pried open, and then I'll use it to kind of roll the strip away from the paper, since it's hard to do that when you lose the pull tab. Then apply somewhat as normal, except we're going to go sideways. So I'm coming from the pinky side of my nail and then pushing across to the middle finger side of my ring finger here. And then you can see there's some overlay over my cuticle, and we don't want that. So I'll push my thumbnail into there to kind of get a little bit of a crease, and then push over the edge like you would normally do to get that covered there. I will leave this for a little while so it can kind of stick it in here to my nail better, and then I'm going to come back and perforate it so I can pull it off. So no, we will come back, but that's where we're kind of leaving off for now. All right, we're going to do the same idea on the middle fingers here. So this middle finger of mine right now has a longer nail than the other side, so I'm going to use that wider part of the strip on this side and the skinny part on this side. Pull that plastic off, figure out where to cut it. And then when I am going to use this for sure for 2 nails, I'll cut it at a slight angle so it's not perfectly straight, so that it's easier to kind of work with the shape of my nail. If your nail is totally straight up the side, then you won't have to do that. But my nail's not totally straight up the side, so that gives me a little wiggle space to do that. Right. Acne needle to pull it off. This is especially helpful for solids or the designs that are not on a glitter base, because it gives you a little bit more control of how you're pulling the nail off the paper, and it won't rip as easily. And then if you need to, you can also use it to place it. Sometimes I can't get my thumb over where I want to. If I put this on this direction, I pulled it away from my thumb side, so it's harder to get my nail in there. This acne needle has a nice loop on the back side that I'll use in place of my thumbnail to do that crease in there that I'll come back for later. Wrap around. This nail is so tiny right now. This is why you don't use your teeth when you should have a nail file after breaking something, but I was not patient enough to get a nail file.
And now you suffer
Now I suffer the consequences, exactly. Yes. All right, so since this one is based off of a solid instead of a glitter, by pushing that in there, it's kind of cracking a little bit already, but I'm still going to leave it there to kind of dry a little bit before I come back and take that all off. And it will give you a cleaner break, and then you won't risk ripping it when you do that. Other side of that strip goes on my other ring finger. Whoops.
Both of your ring fingers have nails
Or my
on them.
middle finger. It's been a long day.
Otherwise, Chrissy has a third hand. We don't know about it.
I could use a third hand. I could use a fourth hand. I still have Christmas presents I haven't finished yet. Gotta crochet them all. All the yarn. That one I ended up not really having to trim or anything. It was the perfect size. I didn't even have to crease it in the sides, so.
We didn't see that.
Sorry, I was putting it on and it just fit awesomely, so just have to do the kind of tip side normal trimming there. All right. These ones I will be putting on sideways just because the design fits better on my short finger than if I tried to do it this way. This way, you notice the design would just go off my finger, and it doesn't look very good. The design would just randomly disappear. I did put "Oh What Fun It Is" or "What Fun It Is" on, and the reindeer's antlers kind of got cut off because my finger was too short. But it still worked. So I'll put these on sideways. I'll kind of do the same thing I did with the middle finger and the ring fingers, where I cut it in the middle after I take the plastic off. You want to take the plastic off first. If you don't take the plastic off first, it makes it really hard to get the nail strip out. And still sometimes hard to get the nail strip off when it's a solid base, like I said. Hence the needle. You see that? Okay, so as I get this off, I can kind of roll the needle underneath to pull that off until it's off enough that I can actually lift it off the paper. So I place that sideways.
That fits pretty nice there, huh?
Mm-hmm. What?
Did you hit me because I was shaking my leg?
Yes.
Sorry.
And then you weren't paying attention, so I didn't know for sure if everybody could see what I was doing.
Let me now your hand's in the way. That seems to fit pretty nicely.
It does.
I'm kind of impressed.
I don't remember the first time I tried that sideways on my index finger. I know by the time I tried like my thirds that I was putting them on sideways for my middle and ring fingers, but I don't remember for sure when I tried it sideways on my index. There we go. I still have to come back and do some trimming. But you can see this one fit nicely over that way. That will need to be trimmed later. This one was already trimmed earlier because I did that before. Other index finger. Some basics I didn't really go over since I'm assuming you're watching this because you just want to know how to do this on short nails. Do your thumbs last because you use your thumbs as tools. And if you put your thumbnails on first, you can't use your nail to adequately do the creasing kind of thing like I'm doing, or use it to pinch off the end because you will wreck the nail. It will push in and get wrinkly at the top. I generally try to not file my nails or cut them the day of application because there can sometimes be a ridge on there that makes it hard. If you have longer nails, that does not matter as much because you can work around it a little bit better, but when your nails are really short and inside the fingertip, it makes it really hard to sometimes work around that. So don't file or trim day of if possible. And then do it the day before or apply and then a couple days later trim them off. You can always seal with clear as day or I'll use, what is that called? It comes in a blue bottle. I can't remember what it's called now. It's down here. This stuff gives kind of a nice thick gel coat. And that can kind of reseal if you decide to trim after application instead of before. All right. Since I use my thumbs as nails, I'm going to take care of trimming the ones I put on sideways first, and then I will come back and do my thumbnails. All right, so if it's a more solid one, sometimes I can use the rounded end of my acne needle to do it. But usually what I first do is I'll go back over that crease I made with my thumbnail with the acne needle. If it's already starting to crack, I'll just kind of rub it in there until it actually breaks off, and then I'll pull it off, usually with the rounded edge side. If it's not cracking yet, I'll usually push in a little bit again with this rounded side, then do the needle, and then come back and take it off. So we'll see how each of those things works since I have one of each available to us. You see this? Okay. So this one was a solid end base there, but I'll push it in there a little bit. Whoop.
And make sure you drop the needle too.
Yep.
It's part of the process.
And then I'll run this along that outer edge of the nail. And if I have a lot of overhang in the front, I'll do it on the front as well. Because it makes it easier to take that off. With a really short nail, you can't shove something else underneath there to crease that nail off. So this kind of takes its place. This might seem like it's taking a really long time, but it's taking longer because I'm trying to explain it to you and make sure you can see what's going on. Alright, so I got that off, and then I can use this to kind of pull it off. And we can see how clean that edge looks after I get this off.
You couldn't see that? No. Okay, we can kind of see that. You got such a tiny fingernail.
So you can't really tell that I created that side. It's a clean cut with that needle in there.
Be careful not to stab yourself too hard with a needle, though. That's not what we're promoting.
No. We're not trying to stab you at all. If you stab you, you went too far. Alright. Glitter side, like I said, I will run this through into the crease again, or use my thumbnail if it's on the side that works for me. So I could use my thumbnail for this one. But we're backwards, it wouldn't work for me to do that just because I can't reach as comfortably that way with control. So kind of up to what you're feeling there. I can see better when I use the end of the acne needle, so I tend to use that when I come back to do the trimming to make sure that I'm not taking some of the strip off of my actual nail. And then I'll run through to perforate with the acne needle. Make sure everything's cut through again because we don't want to pull it off the nail when we pull the polish off. Oops. Just trying to get that to stick to the acne needle so you could see it. So you can see how I perforate around that. That's a pretty smooth edge on there. A little bit of a glitter ridge, but the cut itself is pretty clean. That's how I got that one. I don't need to trim that one. Sometimes when I cut it, I'll have a little corner in there and I'll have to trim that off, but it didn't need that this time. All right. And the last thumbnails.
But not least. These are normal application nails.
Yes, generally. Sometimes if I want to change pattern, I'll use the widest thumbnail and then I'll trim like I did for the other nails. But generally I'll use that second widest strip. Usually I'll apply the right hand first when I'm cutting mid-strip, just because I feel most comfortable using a scissor with my right hand. There are lots of things I can do with both hands. Scissors are not one of them. Some other things I do with short nails, like our mom has a really kind of boxy nail at the bottom, so when I help her with her nails, I'll actually cut these in half and put them on with the middle of the strip towards the cuticle instead, and I'll go back and trim it off. So that's something that you could do potentially as well if you have really short, wide nails, because the middle of the strip tends to be wider than the top. So I'll push these down, and then I'll go back with my rubber cuticle pusher to push those down. And then I will trim them off as needed with the Acne needle if they're short. Right now my thumbnails are longer, so I won't need to probably use the Acne needle to do that. But when they're really short, I'll use the Acne needle to get that excess off. My fingers are getting a little cold. It's just cold because it's winter now.
In Minnesota.
In Minnesota, winters can be very, very, very chilly. Although it's not too bad today. We did go for a 3.5 kilometer walk, so. All right, sometimes these little edges, they get stuck, and since now my thumbnails are covered, I have to go back and I'll pull them out with the Acne needle and that rounded end. But other than that, those thumbnails are just a normal application. So this side of the thumb, I'm going to come back with that Acne needle to get it because it's stuck in the groove. Come on. All right, and there we go. Short nails, apply them sideways, upside down, whatever to make them work. When I go back to put Glitter Sweet on, I'm going to put it on the holly ones, so I'll do something similar when I do those. And that's it. Ta-da!
Ta-da! Spirit fingers.
So now I have a matching Manny. Not exactly matching, but it's close, since I used her leftovers.
It's related.
Yep. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye? Okay, bye.